The Las Vegas Raiders are one of my favorite teams to rebuild because they have such a good baseline of players like Davante Adams, Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Colton Miller, Chandler Jones, MAXX CROSBY, but they just have some pretty big holes on their team. And they're also special to me because they were the first team I ever rebuilt, and the more recent one I did is my best performing video ever in terms of likes. And speaking of likes, super quick before we get into today's video, be sure to go down below and drop a like and a sub and turn on notifications for my channel. All three of those things should take you less than like 5-10 seconds, and it helps me out more than you could imagine. Let's see if we can hit 40 likes on this video, and let's see if we can get to 440 subs. And if we can do that, I will have a new video out on Friday. And huge shout out to Miles Austin for the suggestion. Isn't that the name of a receiver, a white receiver who said a very not great word? Oh no, I'm thinking of Riley Cooper. Wrong. Eagles white receiver. Either way though, go drop them a sub. Their link is in the description. Obviously, I already dropped them one too. And if you want a shout out just like that one, it's easy. Just comment down below what team I should rebuild next. And if I pick your comment, which there's a pretty good chance I do, I'll give you a shout out. I'll tell people to sub to you. I'll drop you a sub, all that good stuff. So it's a win-win. But that is enough plugging. If you know someone who might like my type of videos, be sure to let them know about the channel. Trying to grow it, of course. But let's get into today's video, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Hello everyone, it is Brandon the Simp here, and today we are rebuilding the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, like I said in the intro, this is one of my favorite teams to rebuild because, like I said, they start with amazing players and it's just up to me to fill out the rest of the roster. So actually, if you're wondering what the best team to rebuild is, in my opinion, this is the team. But let's do a super quick team breakdown. So obviously, quarterback, Derek Carr, not my favorite quarterback in the league, but he does look very good at times. Has a really big arm. I think 91 throw power is very low for him. But yeah, I think he's a solid quarterback. I think this team could win a Super Bowl with him. Love Josh Jacobs. I think he's underrated at this point. Their receiving core is great, but very thin. I like Davante Adams. Clearly, he's the best receiver in the NFL. Hunter Renfrow is good. I do think he might be a bit overrated, but I do think he is a very good slot receiver. And I even really like Keelan Cole. But outside of that, they don't have much. I like Tyron Johnson. That's about it, honestly. I was gonna say I like someone else, but I mean, it's pretty thin. If someone gets hurt, they might be screwed. Offensive line is a train wreck. I like Colton Miller. That's about it. Alex Leatherwood, I hated him as a prospect, and look where we are now. I thought he was like a 3rd, 4th round player. They took him in the 1st. Not a great pick. And then they lose Brandon Parker in the preseason, I believe for the year. It's just a shaky group all around. Darren Waller, one of the better tight ends in the league. I like Foster Moreau and Jacob Hollister. And then the defense here, obviously great pass rush duo. Unfortunately, Chandler Jones is another player I think is a bit overrated at this point. I think he's past his prime for sure. I don't think that's really arguable at all. He had like 5 sacks in one game last year and only got like another couple sacks the rest of the year maybe. Just kind of lived off of that game against, I think it was the Titans, but I don't know. I still think he's a good player clearly. I just don't know if he's the true, like, god anymore. MAXX CROSBY is very good, clearly. This linebacking core is very nice. I thought Jayon Brown was such an underrated pickup. I loved him on the Titans. Amazing cover linebacker. Had a down year last year, but I do expect him to rebound. Denzel Perriman, I believe, made the Pro Bowl very quietly. I didn't hear, like, any talk about him last year, and then he just made the Pro Bowl. But he is a good player. Safeties, I love Trayvon Merrick. I hate Jonathan Abram. Duron Harmon's okay. Very nice as a 3rd safety, though. Corner room is really good. I love this room. Rock Ya-Sin, they obviously got from the Colts. They traded Yannick Ngakoue. I thought that was a pretty good trade. Trayvon Mullen is a solid corner. Anthony Averett, I even like. Nate Hobbs, he was really good as a rookie last year. And I even really like Darius Phillips from the Bengals. The thing I don't love about this team, other than the offensive line, is the defensive line. It's either old or just straight up not good. Bilal Nichols is their only solid player in my opinion. Well, I wouldn't say that. that. Jonathan Hankins has shown in the past that he can be decent. Tyler Lancaster, I'm not really a fan. I'm okay with Andrew Billings. I think they have him rated pretty low. I would give him like a 69, but Neil Farrell's whatever. I'm just not a fan of this group. Speaking of Farrell, though, I never talked about Cleland Farrell. Farrell, is that how you say his name? I don't know. Tyler Fackrell, I mean, I think he's out for the year, but still, just a super interesting team. I think if they could have some mini breakouts in positions of need, this could be a Super Bowl team. Like if, say, Alex Leatherwood put it together, or John Simpson looked really amazing, or Keelan Cole or Tyler Johnson broke out, or hell, even like Neil Farrell, Bilal Nichols, one of those players. Like, this has the upside to be a true, like, Super Bowl winning team. But today, we're gonna work to make them an actual Super Bowl contender. So without further ado, I'll see you guys at the midseason point. Okay, so at the midseason point of year number 1, we are 2-4. Let's see what the problem is. Okay, Derek Carr has 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, which isn't great. Only two interceptions, which is very good. Only a 55% completion percentage, which is awful. So very mixed year, like this team. Josh Jacobs is amazing, 6 yards per carry, 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. Davante Adams is doing well, just not many touchdowns, obviously. I'm guessing the line isn't doing no. I'm gonna bench Brandon Parker. Let me find a replacement after this. Are we getting any pressure? 2 players have a sack. Chandler Jones and MAXX CROSBY, and that's it. Chandler Jones has 7, MAXX CROSBY has 5. So they're on track for very good years, but nobody else has a sack. This is a weird start to the rebuild. And let's see, let's try out Thayer Munford just because he's younger. I could put in Jermaine Illuminor, but I want someone younger. Actually, let's put Dylan Parham out at right tackle. And in terms of re-signings, we actually have some huge ones here. So starting off with Josh Jacobs, we will offer him 5 years, $7.5 million per year, and he does take that. Denzel Perriman, he is a bit older at 29, but I'll still re-sign him. Oh, will I? He wants $8.69 million per year. Nice. Over 4 years. Let's do it. Okay, he takes that. Cool. If he wouldn't have taken that, I likely wouldn't have re-signed him because we can just replace him with a younger player, and he's gonna regress, but still. Trayvon Mullen, definitely need him back. He's our number 1 corner. 12 per year. That's fine by me. That's a little steep, but we'll do it. Okay, he takes that. Rock Ya-Sin, I'll bring him back too to be our number 2 corner. His is a little more fair, about 7.2 per year. Let's do that. Cool. The nice thing is every player is really interested in coming back. Jonathan Abram, that's so cheap. I'll just do that. Okay, he takes that. Even Jayon Brown I'll bring back. I didn't realize they had this many contracts up this year. Jesus. The rest of these players are older or just depth pieces. This can't be right. This is like over half of their like starting team in depth. Okay, here we are gonna be trading Anthony Averett and Cleland Farrell along with the 7th round pick just to make it go through to the Lions in return for a 2nd round pick this year. Both of these players were up for contracts and I wasn't gonna re-sign them, honestly. Maybe Cleland Farrell, but unless the Lions re-sign him, he could just be there in free agency anyways. He has 0 sacks this year and he's our number 2 pass rusher for both edge positions, so not doing very well, and it's nice to get an extra 2nd round pick. Okay, so at the end of year number 1, we finished 8-9. We didn't finish as bad as we were on track for. The Jets made the playoffs at 8-9. Ew. But yeah, it looks like we had a bit of a bounce back. 9th in offense, 17th in defense, 24th for scoring though, and 15th for points allowed. Kind of all over the place, like I've been saying. 4,900 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions for Derek Carr. That's a pretty bad year, especially for Madden. Where does that place him in the league? Well, he's 26th in touchdowns and 22nd for interceptions. So essentially, he's like a bottom 8 quarterback. Yikes. I don't know if that's just the scheme or what that is, but that's not good, clearly. However, Josh Jacobs was very good. 1,500 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, 16 touchdowns, amazing year. Probably up there for Offensive Player of the Year. Davante Adams also was very good. 1,400 yards, only 5 touchdowns because not many passing touchdowns obviously happened. Hunter Renfrow with 1,111 for yards, 5 touchdowns. Darren Waller even almost had 1,000 yards, 980 and 10 touchdowns. touchdowns, leading the team. Keelan Cole was second on the team in touchdowns, fourth in yards with 924. So obviously a lot of yards, but not many touchdowns. In terms of blocking though, Colton Miller ended up being our worst lineman technically, letting up 13 sacks, but Dylan Parham was disgusting. He let up 11 in half a year. So I guess we would have been better off starting Brandon Parker. Well, no, I guess Dylan Parham played 760, Brandon Parker played 421, almost a funny number, just one too high. Jerome Simpson as a left guard only letting up 6 sacks is decent. Andre James with 4, and Alex Leatherwood with only 2, but he was a right guard, and right guards typically let up like 0. Jayon Brown led the team with 136 tackles, Jonathan Abram with 104. In terms of tackles for loss, Chandler Jones, oh my god, 18 for him, 17 from Bilal Nichols, 16 from MAXX CROSBY, 10 from Jonathan Hankins. In terms of sacks though, very top heavy, 16.5 from Chandler Jones, 13.5 from MAXX CROSBY. But then there's a huge drop off, 3 from Bilal Nichols, and then like none after that. I mean, hell, when Trayvon Merrick was your 5th best pass rusher, something's wrong. And Jonathan Abram actually leads the team with 2 interceptions, and then a lot of players had 1. Only 8 combined interceptions on the year. MVP goes to Tom Brady of the 13-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Packers actually went 16-1. No Raiders up here. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Tyler Boyd as the number 3 receiver on the Bengals. That's weird. I've never seen him even up here, really. No Raiders though. Defensive Player of the Year goes to TJ Watt, Chandler Jones at number 2, the actual best pass rusher in the league at number 3 in Myles Garrett. MAXX CROSBY at number 8. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Breece Hall of the Jets. I could see that, honestly. Zamir White comes in at number 10. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Derek Stingley. No Raiders, unfortunately. So, very interesting first year. We might have some quarterback controversy in this rebuild. Okay, in the Super Bowl, the Bengals take down the 49ers 38-31. That easily could have been the Super Bowl this year if Jaquiski Tart could catch. You know, as a Seahawks fan, that game was a lose-lose for me, but still super interesting Super Bowl there. The Bengals do win this one. And in terms of re-signings, who do I want back? Foster Moreau, I definitely would want back, but he is not interested at all. Okay, he doesn't take neutral. I'm fine with that. He was just our number 2 tight end anyways. Brandon Parker wants a contract. You're funny, dude. I think I'm just gonna let literally everyone here go. All right, so honestly, this is a very weak free agent class. I don't know if they updated it so players get re-signed more often or what it is, but yeah, definitely not the strongest group I've ever seen. But we're going to be making some interesting moves, assuming they sign these contracts. So Odell Beckham Jr. is a player we're going for, trying to build an amazing receiving core. He would be our number 2. We're offering him technically a low ball, but it's still like 17-16 million a year. So we'll see if he takes that. I don't know if it's really worth it, but he would just be a fun player to have on the team. Certainly, he wouldn't get into any trouble in Las Vegas. We're also offering Mike McGlinchey a contract. We're in the lead for him. Not the best for what we're trying to do here in a somewhat pass-heavy offense. Definitely more of a run blocker, but he is a good player, and we need some of those on the offensive line. And Derek Nottie, we need something on the defensive line. We have Bilal Nichols, and that's literally it. So let's see if any of these players sign. Okay, it looks like Derek Nottie does sign. I'm actually very happy with that. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get Odell. I just don't want to pay him that kind of money. So I'm going to go with someone much cheaper, and by next year we'll probably be the same overall in Mecole Hardman. So we are in the lead for these 2 players. Let's see if either of them sign. And Mike McGlinchey does accept. Cool. Also, oh yeah, he's number 69, so that's perfect. And now Mecole Hardman does accept. Perfect. Alright, so in the draft, the Seattle Seahawks my favorite team have the #1 overall pick, and honestly, after the preseason, I believe it. I mean, I know it's just the preseason, but still. Drew Lock looked rough, and I've been a Drew Lock truther for a few years now, before the Seahawks got him and everything, but I can't defend that preseason, especially considering it was against backups. But hey, you never know. With this first pick, I think I'm going to go Rashad Boston. He is a 6'3", 315-pound, 22-year-old defensive tackle out of Ohio State, left-handed, just like me for real. 38 reps on the bench, which was somehow only third for defensive ends, not even for defensive tackles, so I'm definitely going to be checking out a little bit more here. But A tackle, A block shed, A play rec, even B awareness is very good, no pass rush obviously, but that's fine, it's not like we had any last year anyway, so. Plus he does have the upside for A pursuit and A impact block, so let's take him, and like I figured, he does have normal. Should be a really good player, especially with that deadly 64 jumping. With this next pick, this tight end looks very good. Randy Kendrick out of NC State. He is 6'4", 262. He is 23 years old, so a bit older, but that's fine because he'll be our #2 anyways. He ran a 4.66 at the combine, which is solid for tight ends for sure, especially considering he put up 26 reps on the bench. And I mean, he has A catch in traffic, A run block finesse, even B spec catch. A lot of his stats are unknown, but they have the potential to be good, like A to C awareness, A to C short route. Like, this guy definitely looks decent, so let's take him. And he does have hidden, okay, cool. With this next pick, I'm going to go with an insane looking player in Jordan Gaffney. He is a 6'2", 302-pound, only 21-year-old center out of Louisville, or whatever. I'm good, I'll just call it Louisville and probably be wrong. Kind of like with Carmel. He skipped the combine in his pro day, but apparently he has elite speed, elite acceleration, so potentially a very fast, agile center. Decent strength, but he also has A impact block. Not much power, obviously, but A awareness, A run block, A lead block, A to B pass block finesse, A to B run block finesse, so let's take him. And of course he has hidden dev. He has 76 speed and 69 agility. Nice. Alright, so we had a good draft, but nothing amazing. So Rashad Boston, I thought at least he would have an amazing overall, but not a dev trait, but unfortunately he's only a 73. I thought he would be more like a 78. I guess it's just his awareness and obviously the lack of pass rush lowering him down, and his tackle isn't the best thing ever. Randy Kendricks was actually the best player we took at a 75 overall. Obviously really good speed for a tight end, or at least good speed for a tight end. Good catching, decent short route running, okay blocking. I don't see how he's a 75 overall because he doesn't look that good, but hey, I'll definitely take it. Jordan Gaffney is a 73. Obviously not the strongest in the world, but does have a lot of finesse, would be a better player in like a zone blocking scheme, but hey, a good player is a good player. And then I made these couple picks right here. Marquise Ewing does have a dev trait and is a very good scheme fit, so that's nice. And then the CPU took this pretty good receiver right here, 70 overall, Carl Williams, who has a hidden dev. 97 speed, definitely a very good deep route. Good replacement for Tyler Johnson, even though he didn't get much playing time anyways. And then they also picked Eric Stoutmeyer, a pretty good run-defending linebacker. Alright, so here is a look at the team going into year #2 of the rebuild, and obviously pretty big upgrades. We're already up to an 85 overall, 88 overall offense. I think the Raiders rebuild I did in Madden 22 was the best offense I've ever had, and that was with my custom ratings, which are typically a bit lower, so it was pretty impressive how good of a team that was, but this is getting close to that. Now obviously we added Mecole Hardman, Jordan Gaffney, which isn't that the name of like an actual person? I don't know. Randy Kendricks, our backup tight end, and we signed Mike McGlinchey from free agency, so pretty big overhaul of the offense. And then the defense here, a lot of it is the same, but we did add Derek Nottie, Rashad Boston, and actually both MAXX CROSBY and Josh Jacobs went up to superstar dev, so that's pretty cool. And actually I think Jonathan Abram went up a dev trait too. I believe he had normal before. But let's get into year #2 of this rebuild, and hopefully we can do better than last year. Okay, so at the midseason point of year 2, we are much better, sitting at 5-2. Now, unfortunately, we got absolutely shit on by the Buffalo Bills, 28-7, but at least we're 5-2. Let's check out some of the players and see how they're doing. So Derek Carr is clearly doing much better, 19 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Seems like fixing the offensive line is doing wonders. Josh Jacobs is doing very well, not quite as good as last year, but still very well. Receiving is amazing so far. In terms of blocking, we're looking much better. Mike McGlinchey, like I feared because he isn't a very good pass blocker, is doing terribly, but hopefully he can turn that around. In terms of pressure, we're getting a little bit, not as much as last year, but still a pretty good amount. And in terms of interceptions, we only have 4. So defense might be a little shaky, but the offense is looking very nice. We actually have a breakout D lineman here. I wonder who this is going to be. Derek Naughty, okay. I was hoping it would be the rookie, but I'll definitely take that too. So less than 75 rushing yards and a touchdown, or 2+ interceptions, forced fumbles, tackles for loss, or sacks for Derek Naughty. I don't know if we can do that, but I'm sure he will try his hardest. And in terms of re-signings, it looks like we have a lot again this year. Actually, not too bad. The major one is Darren Waller. I didn't realize he was getting paid so little in real life. We actually have negative cap room. Can we offer this? Oh, can we get away with going a little player friendly for him? I still don't have the cap for that. This could be a problem. Okay, so he does not take what I offered him. I hope some more cap frees up at the end of the year, because that would be a major loss. Same with Bilal Nichols. Actually, I drafted a tight end early, and that might have been a very good choice. He does have a star dev, so not a superstar, but if we need to, he can definitely be our starter. But either way, hopefully we can bring Darren Waller back, but because he is a big part of this team, clearly. Okay, so we did beat the Chargers, but unfortunately Derek Naughty does not get a dev trait. Or I should say, a superstar dev trait. Are you fucking kidding me? So at the end of year number 2, we finish 9-8 after a big collapse, missing the playoffs. So we started off 6-2 after we obviously beat the Chargers, after seeing if Derek Naughty would get the dev trait, which he didn't. So that means after that, we went 3-6. Let's see what teams we lost to. If we lost to good teams, I won't be too mad, but either way, that's stupid. Oh, and actually, we went on a huge loss streak. So we lost to the Commanders, Vikings, Bengals, Broncos, who were like 1-5 at the midseason, and Chiefs. And then we beat the Dolphins and Patriots. I love Madden Sim. But in terms of stats, Derek Carr had the season of his life, only 5 yards away from 5,000 yards, with 4,995, 43 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, which is high, but with 43 touchdowns, you take that. Josh Jacobs with almost 1,500 yards, 5.4 yards per carry, 11 touchdowns. Davante Adams had one insane year, 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns. Hunter Renfrow with 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. Darren Waller only 3 yards away from 1,000 with 7 touchdowns. Hopefully we can re-sign him. If not, it's not the end of the world. Mecole Hardman with 900 yards and 7 touchdowns. Randy Kendricks had 169. Nice. Just want to point that out because I'm immature. Oh, well, isn't that a surprise? I think I found out why we collapsed. Our tackles were horrific. 20 sacks allowed from Colton Miller, 15 from Mike McGlinchey. That, pound for pound, like in terms of their overalls and how they played, that might be the worst tackle season I've ever had in Madden. Even the interior was pretty poor. John Simpson let up 8 sacks as a guard, which isn't great. Jordan Gaffney let up 5 sacks as a center, which isn't great. I mean, he was a rookie, so you expect that, but still. And Alex Leatherwood, I mean, it's only 3, but right guards, like I said, typically let up like 0 to maybe 2. Jayon Brown led the team with 124 tackles. Denzel Perriman had 113. Jonathan Abram had 101 tackles for loss. Chandler Jones with 17. Derek Naughty with 16. MAXX CROSBY with 10. So definitely down from last year, but still good. And sacks, again, a little down from last year, but still very good. 15 from Chandler Jones, 10.5 from MAXX CROSBY. Outside of those two, though, almost less than last year. In terms of interceptions, we had a decent amount. Denzel Perriman, Jayon Brown, Nate Hobbs, and Trayvon Merrick each had 2, and 3 from a few players. But let's check out yearly awards. 6940 yards for the offense. It had 69 and almost 420, I guess. But Joe Burrow wins MVP of the 12-5 Bengals. Derek Carr only at number 10, so these players must have had crazy seasons. I want to check Joe Burrow's season for sure. Nick Chubb wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Devontae Adams at number 3. I mean Offensive Player of the Year, not Offensive Rookie. I'm stupid. Tyler Boyd up there again at number 2. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Von Miller, who apparently is broken in this game. I mean, I see him up there all the time. Chandler Jones at number 5. Trayvon Walker up there, interesting. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Benjamin Drummond of the Buffalo Bills. Randy Kendricks at number 8, and Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to James Jenkins. That's an annoying name, I don't know why. That name just pisses me off, I have no idea why. Rashad Boston, the defensive lineman, at number 8. So definitely a disappointing end to the season, but I'm just glad it wasn't the final year. But speaking of the final year, let's get into the third and final year of the rebuild. Let's try to make some big moves this offseason. So in the Super Bowl, the Buccaneers take down the Browns 38-28. I could see that in a couple years if those teams get a little better. Well, the Bucs are good enough to make it right now. But the Browns without Bill Cosby, we'll have to see. And in terms of re-signings, let's see what we can do here. So Darren Waller is obviously the big one here. And it looks like we can offer him neutral. Let's try it. And he does take it. Okay, perfect. Unfortunately, I think that means we won't really be able to sign any other starters. Not that Bilal Nichols has been amazing by any means, but it's still disappointing regardless. Alright, so I'm gonna maybe do something stupid here. I'm gonna release Derek Carr because that would save us $38 million to do that. Obviously, I'm going to re-sign him in free agency, but I believe I could get him for less money than that in free agency. So in free agency, we are only making 2 offers. Obviously, the first one being Derek Carr. Obviously very interested in coming back. I offered him a neutral and it's a full 5 bars or whatever you call them. And Patrick Queen is the other offer I am making. We're the only offer for him, so let's see if either of these players take it right off the bat. And they both do. Perfect. Alright, so in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Steelers have the number 1 overall pick. I thought they were a good team, like last year. I don't know, something must have happened, but I see Joe Burrow's season. I forgot to check his stats, but it looks like he was very good. 46 touchdowns, 5,600 yards. Very good year from him. Derrick Henry almost had 2,000 yards again. Cooper Kupp was 1 yard away from 1,800. TJ Watt had 21 sacks. There were some good performers this year. Alright, so I'm taking a bit of a chance here, but I'm going to go Terrell Mays. Obviously to be our Bilal Nichols replacement. He is 6'3", 295, 22 years old, out of Miami. Ran a 4.88 at the combine, which is solid for a defensive tackle. 32 reps on the bench. Again, solid. Not great, but solid. He is a big risk, though. He could be pretty bad, honestly. We're just banking on a lot of those A's being A's, if that makes any sense, like the A to C awareness, that kind of stuff. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't expect a lot of those to be A's because he has D pursuit, and typically if they're bad at one thing, they'll be bad at a lot of the others, but hey, you never know. So let's go Terrell Mays, and he does unfortunately have normal, but hopefully he's a decent overall. Wishful thinking, kind of. Alright, and we're actually going to go with another defensive tackle. We're going to go Deontay Worthy. He's 6'5", 288, so tall and a little thin for a D lineman, even though he is 288, or at least a defensive tackle, I should say. Already 23 years old, ran a 4.87 at the combine, 32 reps, very similar to the last player. He has A finesse moves though, which is intriguing, I guess. B awareness, A to C play rec, A to C pursuit, could be a good player. Let's take him. And he again has normal. God damn it. Okay, so we had an interesting draft, and I discovered an interesting glitch in this game. So I did this draft 3 times, actually. The first time I did it, I tried to do the sim to next round thing, because I wanted to make a 7th round trade up, and it completely freaked it out. It just didn't move, and it wouldn't let me simulate anymore. So I closed that and it brought me back to the 2nd round. So then I redid the draft again, went all the way through, and then I ended on this screen and then stopped recording for the night. And then I came back on today and I was back in the draft in the 6th round and then drafted this player right here. So it was just a weird experience. I'm not doing this in offline mode, so it's not like it didn't save. It just, I don't know, it's so weird. But either way, we didn't have the best draft in the world, but I think it was like a necessary evil, I guess. The 2 defensive tackles are only a 70 and a 71 overall. Not the best in the world. Well, I guess technically a 71 and a 71 now. And then we just drafted a lot of linemen. Obviously, I used all of these picks just because I wanted some depth. I don't trust our offensive line. So in my comments, I saw someone say, and I quote, "Don't beg for subs and likes, give ya thumbs down emoji just for that." So if you have enjoyed today's video so far, be sure to drop a like and a sub, and turn on notifications for my channel, because all 3 of those things help me out more than you could imagine, and it helps me know that you people are enjoying the video, so I appreciate it a ton. But this is a very good looking team. Obviously a stacked receiving core, adding Mecole Hardman to it. Josh Jacobs has turned into a monster. Derek Carr was up there for MVP last year. The offensive line should theoretically perform better this year, even though it has played terribly, at least the tackles. We do have a question at right guard though. Dylan Parham was pretty bad when he played, and we have this Marquise Ewing guy, who isn't a very good pass protector at a 60 overall, but couldn't really be worse than 11 sacks in like less than half a year. And obviously Darren Waller and Randy Kendricks, I think his name is, yeah. And then the defense here is even very good. Obviously the combination of Chandler Jones and MAXX CROSBY has been amazing so far. Adding Patrick Queen is a big addition. Denzel Perriman has regressed, so he's the number 3. I wish I wouldn't have paid him. I knew I shouldn't have, because we are paying him a good amount of money, but I guess he's a good 3rd linebacker. The corner room is great. Trayvon Mullen, Rock Ya-Sin, and Nate Hobbs. Just the Raiders cornerback room, but developed. Trayvon Merrick has turned into a solid safety. I think he'll end up being better in real life by this point, but still good. And Jonathan Abram has even turned into a good player. And I actually moved Divine Diablo back to safety, where he originally played, obviously. And he goes up to a 76 overall, so I definitely like that. Good 3rd safety. And the D-line isn't great, but it has potential to be pretty good with 2 younger defensive ends and then a pretty good defensive tackle. But again, it's all about performance, so let's see how this team can do in year number 3. Alright, so here we are at the end of the 3rd and final year. And super quick before I reveal how the team did, of course I'm gonna plug again, just because of the 1 comment. So again, 40 likes, 450 subs, and I will be very happy. And turn on notifications for my channel if you want to get notified whenever I upload a video, because seems like YouTube took me out of the recommended recently a little more. Like there aren't as many impressions on my videos, so be sure to do that. But just taking a quick look at the team, obviously a lot of development here, that's to be expected. Randy Kendricks did hit an 80 overall, so that's pretty cool. Josh Jacobs almost a 99 with his morale. And then the defense here, Terrell Mays actually went up to star dev. It happened in week 2 against the Chiefs, I think it was. I don't think, oh no, it doesn't go back that far anyways, but I don't think it shows breakouts either way. So very happy about that. MAXX CROSBY up to a 96 with his morale. But without further ado, let's reveal how the team did this year. We finished 11-6, making the playoffs in the wild card. I wish we could have had a 1st round bye, but I won't complain too much. Obviously dropping the last game to the Bengals like happens most of the time. I don't know why, but it seems like you always lose the last game when you're good. Just seems like upset week. We have some upgrades here, anything major. Rashad Boston, I saw that one, so that's pretty cool. Chase Loud, he's chasing the loud. And we have a first of many scenario thingy, whatever the hell you call these. Coach, you're heading into your first playoff game. Playoff success often makes or breaks a career. Why is that like a mix of the Joker and I don't know who? That was a weird voice, I'm sorry. Let's go guarantee win, because fuck you. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Well, we have the better overall team by 4 overall, and we have the better record by 2 wins. And we're at home, so hopefully we would win this game, but it's Madden, so I highly doubt we win. But let's take on my rebuild team from a couple rebuilds ago. Let's see if we can take down the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we do not. Anytime I talk any amount of shit, we immediately lose. The Colts went 17-0. Oh my god. Pat Favorite. Well, if that ain't my favorite player, then I don't know who is. He's only 21 and he's already an 82 overall. Oh my god. 45 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. This team was insane. They have Laviska Shenault, Jonathan Taylor almost hit 2,000 yards. This team was crazy. But of course, this ain't the Colts rebuild. This is the Raiders rebuild. Derek Carr was very good. 4,900 yards, 38 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions on the year. He was amazing. Josh Jacobs, a little bit of a down year well, not really. Almost 1,300 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, 19 touchdowns. Even Chase Edmonds as the backup did all right. In terms of receiving, 1,200 yards from Davante Adams, only 3 away from 1,300, and 17 touchdowns. Darren Waller with 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. Mecole Hardman with 960 yards and only 1 touchdown. And Hunter Renfrow, even though I started him in the slot, only had 900 yards and 7 touchdowns is pretty good. In terms of blocking, it was much improved compared to last year. Mike McGlinchey and Jordan Gaffney and Alex Leatherwood were all pretty bad. Colton Miller and Dylan Parham both did pretty well. Actually, no, Alex Leatherwood was decent. He was our left guard. I forgot about that. So ignore that. Mike McGlinchey and Jordan Gaffney were bad. The rest were decent. I see something. Holy shit. Okay. Patrick Queen had 127 tackles, which led the team. Jayon Brown with 112. Jonathan Abram with 100 flat. Tackles for loss. MAXX Crosby, Mad Max, corny ass name, but he led the team with 22 tackles for loss. Chandler Jones and Deontay Worthy each had 12, Rashad Boston with 11, and Terrell Mays with 10. So good amount of tackles for loss. But in terms of sacks, MAXX Crosby with 21 and a half. And just look at some of those stats. He is disgusting. Almost tying the record all time. Actually, by this point, it's probably been broken because players can get like 30 for some reason, but still. Chandler Jones with 10.5 was also very good. Terrell Mays, 5.5, decent. Rashad Boston, 4.5. Deontay Worthy, 4. In terms of interceptions, Nate Hobbs, Rockison, and Trayvon Merrick each had 3, so pretty good amounts. Trayvon Mullen with 2, MAXX Crosby and Jonathan Abram with 1. Let's see, MVP, I would bet it's Pat Favorite, I think his name was. No, it's not. Desmond Ridder wins MVP. I want to check out his season. Justin Herbert on the Rams. Derek Carr up there at number 5. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Jonathan Taylor. Davante Adams at 6. Derek Carr at 9. Nice. MAXX Crosby wins Defensive Player of the Year. Let's go. Offensive Rookie of the Year, obviously Pat Favorite. No Raiders. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jamel Beckham of the Chargers. That's a weird way to spell Beckham, but I guess I've seen it before. Worthy at number 3. Terrell Mays at number 4. I guess Worthy wasn't quite worthy of Defensive Rookie of the Year. Super funny. What did Desmond Ridder do? Oh, 54 touchdowns. He's only a 79 overall, really? Some players just don't develop in this game. I don't know why, and he's one of them. 5,700 yards, 54 touchdowns. I said that really weird. I just can't speak. 12 touchdowns, I guess, is a lot, but you definitely take that. That's one hell of a year. But unfortunately, that is where this rebuild will end. Thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know what team to do next, and if/when I pick your comment, I will give you a shout out, drop you a sub, tell everyone else to sub to you, all that good stuff. Because, you know, I want to help y'all out if y'all are helping me out. But yeah, of course, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Share it with a friend that might enjoy these videos, and if you're that friend, share that with more friends. And at the end of this video, another one of my rebuilds will be recommended for you to click click on, so be sure to do that. But thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys again in the next video. Goodbye.